धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। तूने हमें उत्पन्न किया, पालन कर रहा है तो तुझसे ही पाते प्राण हम। दुखियों के कष्ट हरता है तू, तेरा महान तेज है, छाया हुआ सभी स्थान। सृष्टि की वस्तु वस्तु में तू रहा है विद्यमान। तेरा ही धरते ध्यान हम, मांगते तेरी दया। ईश्वर हमारी बुद्धि को श्रेष्ठ मार्ग पर चला। दाता हमारी बुद्धि को श्रेष्ठ मार्ग पर चला। ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः, तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं, भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि, धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। Join the palms together, rub them slowly, gently, and transfer the energy to the eyes while opening the eyes below the palms. And slight rubbing of the facial muscles, relaxing them and keeping a gentle smile. Go now to Ishvara Stuti Prathnopasna. Stuti, praising the virtues of Ishvara God to be able to integrate them in our daily life. Prarthana, praying to Ishvara God, and remember prayers to be done after putting all the mental and physical efforts to realize the truthful goals in our lives. And then Upasana is meditation, communion with God. So just remember, this is delving within our inner self to realize Ishvara, the omnipresent, present within us, present all around us and everywhere in this universe. So the best way to commune with God, to enter into good communion with God, is to look for the divinity within ourselves. अथेश्वर स्तुति प्रार्थनोपासना मंत्रा। ॐ विश्वानि देव सवितर्दुरितानि परासुव, यद्भद्रं तन्न आसुव। तू सर्वेश सकल सुखदाता, शुद्ध स्वरूप विधाता है। उसके कष्ट नष्ट हो जाते, शरण तेरी जो आता है। सारे दुर्गुण दुर्व्यसनों से हमको नाथ बचा लीजिए। मंगलमय गुण कर्म पदार्थ प्रेम सिंधु हमको दीजिए। सो सर्वेश सकल सुखदाता, शुद्ध स्वरूप विधाता है, एक्सप्लेन्स itself. The omnipresent Ishvara and the all immaculate Shuddha Swarup, Vidhata, maker of this universe. उसके कष्ट नष्ट हो जाते, शरण तेरी जो आता है. So this is, just as we say, alankaric, indicative. Sharan teri jo aata hai, so going to Ishvara God means surrender to the teachings is given to us in the Vedas and to the teachings given to us in terms of the laws of this universe, the laws of nature. So if we abide by these teachings and by these laws, we'll always stay away from pains and sufferings, kashta nashta, and then we'll be able to shed all the ills and evils from our life, durgun durvyasan, and then in that we'll be able to adopt the virtues of that divinity. ॐ हिरण्यगर्भः समवर्तताग्रे भूतस्य जातः पतिरेकासीत् सदाधारपृथिवीं द्यामुतेमं तस्मै देवाय हविषा विधेम ॐ यः प्राणतो निमिषतो महित्वैकैद्र जगतो बभूव य ईशे यस्य द्विपादश्चतुष्पदः तस्मै देवाय हविषा विधेम ॐ ये नद्योरुग्रा पृथिवी च त्रिधा येन स्वस्तभितं येन नाकः यो अन्तरिक्षे रजसो विमानः कस्मै देवाय हविषा विधेम ॐ प्रजापते नत्वदेतानिन्यो विश्वाजातानि परिता बभूव यत्कामास्तेजोमस्तन्नो अस्तु वयं स्याम पतयोरयीनाम्. This mantra says तारे रवि चंद्रादिक रचकर निज प्रकाश चमकाया है धरनी को धारण कर तूने कौशल अलख जगाया है तू ही विश्व विधाता पोषक तेरा ही हम ध्यान धरें शुद्ध भाव से भगवन तेरे भजनामृत का पान करें तुझसे बड़ा न कोई जग में सब में तू ही समाया है जड़ चेतन सब तेरी रचना तुझ में आश्रय पाता है हे सर्वोपरि विभो विश्व का तूने साज सजाया है धन दौलत भरपूर दीजिए यही भक्त को भाया है. So it says, recognizing Ishvara God as the creator of this whole universe, in which all the universe rotates, and including us. So recognizing this Ishvara God as the maker of this universe and the sustainer, and following the guidance, the instructions in the Vedas and in the laws of nature, in the laws of the universe, will become Vayam Syama Patayorainam. Dhan Daulat Bharpur Deji, and it's not only physical wealth, it means physical wealth as well as spiritual wealth. Dhan Aishwariyon ke Swami, Dhan or Aishwariyon, be masters of both spiritual and material treasures in life. Om Sano Bandhurjanita Savidhata Dhamani Veda Bhuvanani Vishwa Yatra Deva Amritamana Shana Spriti Dhaman Nadyairayanta Om Agnenaaya Supatharaya अस्मान् विश्वानि देववयुनानि विद्वान् यो योध्यस्मज्जोरानमेनो भूयिष्ठां तेन उक्तिं विधेम। तू ही स्वयं प्रकाश रूप प्रभु सबका सृजनहार, तू ही रसना निश दिन रते तुम्ही को मन में बसना सदा, तू ही कुटिल पाप से हमें बचाते रहना हरदम दया निधान। अपने भक्त जनों को दीजिए भगवन यही विशुद्ध वरदान। So it says, Agni Naya Supatha, the self-illuminating Ishvara God. Self-illuminating, which is shown in the creation, in this beautiful universe we have, in which we are residing. Then Sabka Sirjanhar Tuhi, one ruler, leader of this universe. Rasna Nishdin Rate Tumhi Ko. So for praising the virtues of Ishvara God, Man mein basna sada tuhi, let's keep Ishvara God as the object of our meditation, contemplation. Kutil paap se bachate rehna hardam daya nidhan, which Ishvara God is doing at each and every step of our life. In this mantra we have Vishwe Deva Vavayunani Vidwan. Vishwani Deva Vayunani Vidwan. So the whole universe, including Vishwe Deva, the elderlies and the knowledgeable persons, sharing their expertise, their knowledge, and their experiences. And we follow that, that suffices to us to stay away from Kutil Paapase. Then second alternative is to listen to the inner voice, the inner guidance, the divinity guiding us. Then it says, Apne bhakta jano ko bhagavan dijiye yahi vishuddha vardhan. So when we say bhakta jano, let's recognize it as we say, कन कन में ईश्वर बसा हुआ है. Ishvara God is in each and every particle in this universe, and each and everything has something to teach us. Bhakta Jano, let's look, when is a child a bhakta of his parents and when is a child bhakta of the Guru? It's only when the child complies to the guidance, to the instructions of the parents or the Gurus. So when we say, Apne bhakta jano ko bhagavan dijiye yahi vishuddha vardhan, when we want the vardhan, the grace of God, let's become the patra, the recipient of that grace. And that when we comply to the regulations, to the laws, to the instructions given to us by Ishvara God in the Vedas and in the laws of the universe, in the laws of the creation, in the laws of nature. Iti Shurastuti Prathnopasna Mantraha. Atsman ke liye seedhe haath mein jal lenge. Take water in the right palm, 3 mantras, and take water for each mantra, and sipping of water on the other end of the same Swaha. Om Amritopastara Namasi Swaha. Second time. Om Amrita Pidhanamasi Swaha. Third time. Om Satyam Yasha Shirmahi Shri Shayatam Swaha. So wash your hands and take water in the left palm, using the middle and ring finger of the right hand. We are going to touch various parts of the body, praying to Ishvara God that He guides our intellect, the Atma first, the soul, and the soul guiding the Man, Chit, Buddhi, the mind and the heart, so that we can engage these limbs into righteous actions for benefit of ourselves and our surroundings. Om Bhangmasyasto Om Sorme Pranusto Om Akshnurme Chakshurasto Om Karnyorme Shrotramasto Om Bahurme Balamasto Om Urvorma Uchustu Om Marashtane Mengani Tanustanvame Sahasanto. Each and every action that we do during Yaksh is symbolical, highly spiritually charged. Like when we are drinking water in Achman, if we look at the properties of water, so many things to learn there. Water as a purifier, water as the giver of life, sustainer of life, because even humans, we start our life the first 9 months in an aquatic medium, in the womb. And moreover, this body, 70% is water. Look at water, the unifying factor. If you put water mixed from 2 glasses into a third one, there's no science in the world which can say these molecules come from glass A and the others from glass B. Unifying factor of water and the bonding factor, transformation factor. Look at when we cook rice or we cook roti. No science can revert it back to the original rice grains or flour. Then look at the peaceful attitude of water. Whenever water pours down on us, even in floods, when they go to the sea, there's the process. When they go to the lakes, it's stabilized and calmed down. All the mud settles, it becomes clear. If you take water in a bucket, throw a pebble, it makes the ripples. And when the ripples come back, it's total Shanti, peace. So let's make our life like this. With all the ups and downs that we have, we'll be able to just focus and bring the peace within our life. Like the ripples, when they come back to the center, peaceful again. So let's make our life like this. Now, lighting of the lamp for Niyadhan, Deepak Prajalan. Om Bhurabhuvah Swaha. So those with the Havan Kund now will take camphor in the silver, the spoon, will light it, and at the end of the mantra, place it in the center of the Havan Kund. Om Bhurabhuvah Swaha Dhyoreva Bhumna Prithiviva Varna Tasyaste Prithivi Deva Yajani Prishthe Agnimanna Dhyayadadhe. Next mantra, Agni Samindhan mantra, is making the fire blazing. Formerly, people were lighting the fire by bringing the embers from the kitchen, but now we are using matchstick and lamp. So during this mantra, we'll be pouring 2 free spoons of ghee over the samidhas to get them blazing. Om Udbudhya Svagni Pratijagri Tvamishta Purte Sansrijetamayancha Asmin Sadaste Adyutarasmin Vishve Devaya Jamanasya Sidata. Samidhadan. Take 3 pieces of samidha, wood sticks, dip in ghee. First samidha with this mantra. Om Ayantaidmatma Jata Vedaste Nidyasvardhasvachedavardhaya Chasman Prajaya Pashubhirma Varchase Namnadyena Samedhaya Svaha. Idam Agnaye Jata Vedase Idam Namama. Second samidha, we have 2 mantras here. The offering would be at the second Swaha. Om Samidhagnim Dupasyata Griter Vordayata Tithim Asmin abhyajo tanasvaidamagni idam namama. Om susamidaya shotishe gritam tivram jotana agnaye jatavedase svaha. Idam agnaye jatavedase idam namama. Third Samhita. ॐ तन्त्वा समिद्भिरङ्गिरो प्रीतेन वर्धयामसि बृहच्छोषाय विष्ठय स्वाहा इदम् अग्नेङ्गिरसे इदं नमः. So just one note, what this Samhita teaches us is when they go into the fire, they become fire-like. They adopt the virtues, the quality of the fire. Similarly, in our lives, when we do stuti, praising the virtuous qualities of Ishwar God, let's adopt them in life and become in turn virtuous. That's simple spiritual meaning of offering of Samhita. Offering is surrender, and when we surrender, when the Samhita surrenders itself to the fire, it becomes fire-like. So if we surrender ourselves to Ishwar God, we'll become virtuous, and our qualities would be the qualities of the divinity. Now, Panchagrit Ahuti, offering of ghee. Om Ayantaidmatma Jata Vedaste Nidhyasvardha Swachedda Vardhaya Chasman Prajaya Pashubhirma Varchase Nanadyena Samedhaya Svaha Idam Agnaye Jata Vedase Idam Namama. Om Ayantaidmatma Jata Vedaste Nidhyasvardha Swachedda Vardhaya Chasman Prajaya Pashubhirma Varchase Nanadyena Samedhaya Svaha Idam Agnaye Jata Vedase Idam Namama. Om Ayantaidmatma Jata Vedaste Nidhyasvardha Swachedda Vardhaya Chasman Prajaya Pashubhirma Varchase Namnadyena Samedhaya Svaha Idam Agnaye Jata Vedase Idam Namama. Om Ayantaidmatma Jata Vedaste Nidhyasvardha Swachedda Vardhaya Chasman Prajaya Pashubhirma Varchase Namnadyena Samedhaya Svaha Idam Agnaye Jata Vedase Idam Namama. Jal Sechanam, sprinkling of water around the Havan. First on the east side, Purva Disha. Om Adite Numanyasva. Paschim Disha, west. Om Anumate Numanyasva. North, Uttar Disha. Om Saraswatyanmanyasva. The fourth mantra will be all around the Havan Kund, starting from the northeast point, moving clockwise and ending on the northeastern point, Ishan Disha. Om Deva Savita Prasuvayatyam Prasuvayatyapatiം Bhagaya Divyo Gandharva Ketapoke Tanna Punatu Vachaspatir Vachanna Svadato. Ahutis of ghee, the first in the north side, second on the southern side. So in pouring the ghee, offering the ghee in the streamline form, northeast to northwest to northeast, then southwest to southeast, and then it will be in the center. So north. Om Agnaye Svaha Idam Agnaye Idam Namama. South. Om Somaya Svaha Idam Somaya Idam Namama. Center. Om Prajapataye Swaha. Idam Prajapataye Idam Namama. Om Indraya Swaha. Idam Indraya Idam Namama. Now ghee and samagri दोनों की आहुतियां चलेंगे. Both ghee and samagri will be offered. And remember, we are doing the Prata Kalin, then Sayan Kalin Ahuti, because we are doing one Havan in the particular moment. And then we'll be doing the Dainik Ahuti. So ghee and samagri. Om Suryo Jyotir Jyoti Surya Swaha. Om Suryo Varasho Jyotir Varasha Swaha. Om Jyoti Surya Suryo Jyoti Swaha. Om Sarurdevena Savitra Sajurusha Sindravatiya Rushana Suryavetu Swaha. Om Agnir Jyotir Jyotiragni Swaha. Om Agnir Varcho Jyotir Varcha Swaha. Om Swaha. Om Sajurdevena Savitra Sajuratrandраvatya Rushano Agnirvetu Swaha. The next mantra gives us the guidance. Bhuragnaye pranaya swaha bhurvayve apanaya swaha swaradityaya vyanaya swaha, telling us to synchronize our breath and to feel Bhuragnaye, Bhu, Ishvara as the giver of life, Agnaye, Agni, the light of knowledge, and the light, physical light of the universe. Bhurvayve panaya, Bhuva, remover of our pains and sorrows, and Apan, breathing out all the toxins, and Bhurvasvaragni Vaivadite, Swaradityaya Vyanaya, Swa, Ishvara as the source of all happiness. And that happiness goes into our body by the Vyan Pran, the life force, sending oxygen and nutrients to all parts of the body. So if we can connect the spiritual and scientific aspect of these mantras and integrate them by synchronizing our breath, we'll be driving into our bloodstream the essential oils coming out of the herbs in the samagri and in the ghee, and bringing us good physical health, which in turn would enable us to grow spiritually, socially, and do our own welfare and the welfare of the whole. So ghee and samagri. Om Bhuragnaye Pranaya Swaha. Idam Agnaye Pranaya Idam Namama. Om Bhuvarvaive Panaya Swaha. Idam Vaive Panaya Idam Namama. Om Bhurvasvaragni Vaivaditebhya Pranapan Vyanabhya Swaha. Idam Agnivaivaditebhya Pranapan Vyanabhya Idam Namama. Om Apo Jyotirasomritam Brahmavor Swaha. Om Yam Medham Devagana Pitarashopasute Tayama Madhyame Dhayagni Medhavinam Kuru Swaha. Om Vishwani Deva Savitar Durtani Parasuva Yad Bhadram Tanna Suva Swaha. Om Agnena Yasvatara Yasman Vishwani Deva Vayunani Vidwan Yuyodhyasmadjoran Meno Vishante Namautim Vidhema Swaha. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Swaha. Om Vishwani Deva Savitar Durtani Parasuva Yad Bhadram Tanna Suva Swaha. Om Sadasaspati Madbhutam Priyamandrasya Kamyam Sanim Medhamaya Sisham Sva. So these mantras praying to Ishvara God for Medha Buddhi, the enlightened mind, and the enlightened mind driving us to recognize truth from untruth, to be able to make the distinction between dharma and adharma, and be assertive in our duties and responsibilities, and shun negligence, carelessness. Om Yam Medham Devagana Pitarashchopasate Tayama Madhyame Dayagni Medhavinam Kuru Swaha. Om Medham me Varuno Dadatu Medhamagni Prajapati Medhamindrascha Vayushcha Medham Dhata Dadatu Me Swaha. ॐ इदं मे ब्रह्म च चक्रं चोभेश्रियमश्नुतां मयि देवा ददतु श्रियमुत्तमां तस्यै ते स्वाहा ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा. The next 4 ahutis only ghee till Svishtakrita ahuti, that will be only ghee, and then one will come to Gayatri mantra, then will be ghee and samagri. So for now, only ghee. Om Agnaye Swaha Idam Agnaye Idam Namama Om Somaya Swaha Idam Somaya Idam Namama Om Prajapataye Swaha Idam Prajapataye Idam Namama Om Indraya Swaha Idam Indraya Idam Namama Om Bhuragnaye Pranaya Om Bhuragnaye Swaha Idam Agnaye Idam Namama Om Bhuvarvayave Swaha Idam Vayave Idam Namama Om Suradityaya Swaha Idam Adityaya Idam Namama Om Bhurvasvaragnivaivaditevya Swaha Idam Agnivaivaditevya Idam Namama. Svishtakrita ahuti, if you have prasad, so it will be an ahuti of ghee and prasad only. Otherwise, only ghee. Om Yadasya Karmanotyaricham Yadvyanyunmihakaram Agneshta Shrishtakrit Vidyat Sarvam Swishtam Suhutam Karotu Me Agnaye Shrishtakrite Suhutaute Saruprayashchitahutinam Kamanam Samardhetre Sarvanaha Kaman Samardhya Swaha Idam Agnaye Shrishtakrite Idam Namama. Only ghee. Om Swaha Idam Prajapataye Idam Namama. 3 times Gayatri mantra and 3 times Mahamrityunjay mantra, both ghee and samagri. So you all chant the mantra along with me in one pace, in one tone, feeling your own pronunciation, the sound waves and the vibrations from the sound waves, and getting back to you and sense the feeling of peace generated within the heart and the mind. Om Bhurbhuvah Svah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Swaha. Om Bhurbhuvah Svah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Swaha. Om Bhurbhuvah Svah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Swaha. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam उर्वारुक्मीव बन्धनान् मृत्युर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् स्वा ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुक्मीव बन्धनान् मृत्युर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् स्वा ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुक्मीव बन्धनान् मृत्युर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् स्वा ॐ. Now, three offerings of ghee and samagri to finalize the Yaj Purnavati. Om Sarvam Vai Purnam Swaha. Om Sarvam Vai Purnam Swaha. Om Sarvam Vai Purnam Swaha. All is final, all is complete. Now, Mahavam, Devyagam, just join the palms together, fold the hands, and pray to Ishwar God for peace, progress, and prosperity, Sukh, Shanti, or Samriddhi. Three mantras from Samri. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha. Kyanashchitra bhuvadoti sada vridha sakha kayashachishtaya vrita om bhurbhuvah swaha om bhurbhuvah swaha तस्त्वा सत्यो मदानां मङ्गीष्ठो मत्सदन्दस द्विदाचिदारुजेवसु ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः अभीषो नः सखीनामवीता चरित्रणां शतं भवास्युतये ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः. धनंजय जी, यज्ञ प्रार्थना.
पूजनीय प्रभु हमारे भाव उज्ज्वल छोड़ देवे छल कपट को मानसिक बल दीजिए वेद की बोले ऋचाएं सत्य को धारें हर्ष में हो मग्न सा योग साधन से अश्वमेधाधिक रचाए यज्ञ पर उपकार को धर्म मर्यादा चला कर लाभ दे संसार को नित्य श्रद्धा भक्ति से यज्ञादि हम करते रहें रोग पीड़ित विश्व के संताप सब हरते रहें भावना मिट जाए मन से पाप अत्याचार की कामनाएं पूर्ण हों यज्ञ से नर नार की लाभकारी हो हवन हर जीवधारी के लिए वायु जल सर्वत्र हो शुभ गंध को धारण किए नमम का सार्थक प्रत्येक में व्यवहार हो। हाथ जोड़ झुकाय मस्तक वंदना हम कर रहे। नाथ करुणा रूप करुणा आपकी सब पर रहे। पूजनीय प्रभु हमारे भाव उज्ज्वल कीजिए। खोल देवे छल कपट को मानसिक बल दीजिए। प्रभु आत्मिक बल दीजिए। सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। सबका भला करो भगवान सब पर कृपा करो हे महान। सब पर दया करो हे दयावान सबका सब विधि हो कल्याण। हे ईश सब सुखी हो कोई न हो दुखारी। सब हो निरोग भगवन धन धान्य के भंडारी। सब पात्र भाव देखे संसार के पथिक हों। दुखिया न कोई होवे प्राणधारी। हे नाथ सब सुखी हों कोई न हो दुखारी। सब हों निरोग भगवन धन धान्य के भंडारी। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव। त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव।
Now, Ashirvan, repeat along with me. Om Satya Santo Yajamanasya Kama. Om Purna Santo Yajamanasya Kama. Om Safala Santo Yajamanasya Kama. For all those joining in this Yaj, as we say, Yaj Parivar, may all your wishes be truthful, and all the truthful wishes be fulfilled, and all the truthful wishes be fulfilled with 100% success. Swasti Mantra. Om Swasti na Indro Vridhashava Swasti na Pusha Vishvaveda Swasti nastaksharyo Arishtanemi Swasti no Brihaspati'r dadhatu Om Bhadram Karnevih Shrunuyam Deva Bhadram Pashyemakshabhirayajatra स्थिरैरङ्गैष्टौष्टुवां सस्तनुर्भिर्व्यशेमहि देवहितं यदायुः। भगवान इस परिवार को सुख का सदा वरदान दो। ज्ञान की गंगा बहाकर शुद्ध वैदिक ज्ञान दो। निरोग होकर सब जिए शतवर्षायुष्मान हो। धन धान्य से पूरित सदा यश युक्त कीर्तिमान हो। पुत्र पौत्रादिक सभी बलवान हो, श्रीमान हो, विद्वान हो, मतिमान हो, धर्मात्मा धीमान हो। ओम स्वस्ति स्वस्ति स्वस्ति। ओम शांति शांति शांति। Namaste everybody. Now for bhajan, Yashji, bhajan gaएगी. So unmute yourself.
ओम सब में ओम समाया, कर लो सबसे प्यार जगत में, कोई नहीं पराया, कोई नहीं पराया। जितने हैं संसार के प्राणी, सब में है एक ज्योति। एक बाग के फूल है सारे, एक माला के मोती। एक ही कारीगर ने सबको एक माटी से बनाया। कर लो सबसे प्यार जगत में, कोई नहीं पराया। मुझ में ओम, मुझ में ओम, सब में ओम समाया। एक पिता के बच्चे हैं सब, एक हमारी माता। दाना पानी देने वाला एक हमारा दाता। फिर ना जाने किस मूर्ख ने लड़ना हमें सिखाया। कर लो सबसे प्यार जगत में, कोई नहीं पराया। मुझ में ओम, मुझ में ओम, सब में ओम समाया। मुझ में ओम, मुझ में ओम। ऊंच नीच और भेदभाव को तोड़ो। बदला जमाना तुम भी बदलो, बुरी आदतें छोड़ो। जागो और जगाओ सबको, समय ही ऐसा आया। कर लो सबसे प्यार जगत में, कोई नहीं पराया। तुझ में ओम, मुझ में ओम, सब में ओम समाया। कर लो सबसे प्यार जगत में, कोई नहीं पराया। धन्यवाद।
थैंक यू यशजी। पंडिता जी, कोई भजन आपकी ओर से? If you need to go look for the copy, no problem. I'll do one in the meantime. हमारे यहाँ मॉरिशस में we have after Yaj Pratna, when we do Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, there is another Pratna which comes in the form of bhajan, which gives the interpretation of the essence of Yaj and also the essence of Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina. It goes like this. सुखी बसे संसार सब, दुखिया रहे न कोई। यह अभिलाषा हम सब की, भगवन पूरी होई। विद्या बुद्धि तेज बल, सबके भीतर होई। दूत पूत धन धान्य से, वंचित रहे न कोई। आपकी भक्ति प्रेम से, मन होवे भरपूर। राग द्वेष से चित मेरा, कोसों भागे दूर। मिले भरोसा आपका, हमें सदा जगदीश। आशा तेरे धाम की, बनी रहे मम ईश।
या
हमें बचाओ पाप से करके दया दयाल, अपना भक्त बनाय कर सबको करो निहाल। दिल में दया उदारता, मन में प्रेम अपार, हृदय में धैर्य वीरता, सबको दो करतार। हाथ जोड़ विनती करूं, सुनिए कृपा निधान, साधु संगत सुख दीजिए, दया नम्रता दान। Anyone else for bhajan?
So that's the way to find it.
Dhananjay ji can make the announcements or greetings. Om Dhananjay ji. Okay. So, welcome everybody to the weekly service of the Center of Atlanta, acknowledging the Nanjeji and his family following on Zoom, and on Zoom also Pandita ji, and Yash ji from Toronto, and Vandana ji from Sandy Springs. So that's our weekly services by the grace of Ishwar God. जिसे कहते हैं ईश्वर की कृपा से आज का यज्ञ संपन्न हुआ. We completed the yajna of today. Thanks to Ishwar God for having given us samay, time, resources, samarthya, avasara, the occasion, vidya, knowledge, and the knowledge of the Vedas, the creation where we are living, and with all its amenities, as well as the rishis who unfolded the knowledge of the Vedas to us, and thanks to our parents for having given us the sanskar to be here today at this opportune moment. And if you just see, whenever we do satsang, we acknowledge everybody, we give thanks to everybody, but we forget to give the thanks, to offer the thanks to the Supreme Being, Almighty, Omnipresent, Omnipotent, Omniscient, all just and all merciful Ishwar God. So we should take the habit of, even though in the mantras we acknowledge the grace of Ishwar, but we should be aware, because at times when we chant the mantras, we either don't understand the mantras or we are so immersed only in the chanting that we forget what Maharshi Patanjali says, Tad japas tadartha bhavanam. At least when we are chanting the mantras, try to grasp the gist of them. Then we'll know we are giving the thanks of Ishwar. And when we thank Ishwar God, is one way of surrendering ourselves to that divinity, the divinity which gives us life on this planet Earth, without which, had he given us our life without a place to stay, we would have been nowhere. And with all the amenities, air, fire, space, water, and earth, always essential to sustain life. That's why when surrendering ourselves to Ishwar God by saying thank you, God, it's one way to become more humble in life. I'll just give one anecdote which my father was always telling when he was doing the yajna every Sunday at home. He says, as and when we grow, let's be like the fruit trees. When we grow, the branches are all growing up, forming a beautiful crown. When the flowers are there, they attract so many bees, helping the bees to get their food, and at the same time, pollination is done. But as and when the fruits grow, as they grow bigger and bigger, the branches just start bending. And when the fruit arrives at maturity, the trees show the total humility, surrendering itself to nature, calling upon the other species to pluck the fruits and enjoy the fruits of that. So that's nature teaching us. It's not only the knowledge of the Vedas which gives us lessons in life. It's nature teaching us. It says the creation, the universe itself, with that much of knowledge that it contains, is equivalent, as we say, to the fifth Veda. Unwritten, untold, unspoken, but for us to catch the lessons in life. So trees are one example. I gave the example of water when we were doing the archery. So many qualities to pick up from there. And to understand the concept of God, of the creator of this universe, let's look at air. No form. It assumes the form of the vessel in which it is contained, like a balloon. If you have a balloon, when you blow it, it becomes round, so the air becomes round there. And if the balloon is elongated, long, so it takes that form. So Ishvara God present in all things in this universe. But remember, these things do not become God. The entity is totally different. God is one entity, and all the other things each have their own identity. Just as if you make a bowl of cotton and place it in a cup filled with water, water percolates the cotton. The cotton is within the water, and water is also within the cotton. But the entities are different. The cotton remains the cotton, and the water remains the water. This is understanding the omnipresence of God. And as we say, the Vyapya Vyapak Sambandh. The percolation power of Ishvara God across everything in this universe. The other example would be like the Rasgulla, the cheese ball in syrup. So what happens is that we fry the cheese balls and then we dip it in syrup, then it becomes sweet. But until it's separate, the entities are separate, and even when we dip the cheese ball in the syrup, the entirety of the cheese ball is separate and the syrup is separate. Because if you take that same cheese ball, plunge it into water, that becomes so diluted, and at what point in time the sweetness just disappears. So at the end of this lifetime, when this body is reduced to ashes, Ishvara will still percolate the ashes. The body is still there. So Ishvara percolates each and every single element, single entity of this universe. That's why when we learn to surrender to us, and this Samhita which we use in the Havan Kund is another example. When I said we were doing Samhita Dan, it's also surrendering ourselves to Ishvara God, just as the Samhita surrenders itself to the fire. It becomes just like burning embers. And if it's really fragrant medicinal wood stick, it will dissipate the fragrance, diffuse the fragrance, diffuse the medicinal oils in the Samhita, diffuse it to the atmosphere. And the Samhita, when it's burning, the ghee, the samagri which we are putting there, it just spreads the fragrance, the properties, the medicinal properties as microparticles into the atmosphere. And the other mantra which we do, the Mahamrityunjay mantra, which says Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam. So can we spread the fragrance of our virtues, of our good nature, of our good actions all around us? So if we look at it, the knowledge of the Vedas, the knowledge of the universe, and everything reveals some of the characteristics in our building, in our making, in the making of the human life. Suddenly, we have to recognize them, pick them from nature, pick them from the universe, and pick them from the Vedas, and move ahead in life. And when we move ahead in life, we'll ultimately reach the goals, the objectives which we are chanting in the various bhajans. Like when we say, Pujaniya Prabhu, Hamare Bhav Ujjwal Kijiye. God is only giving us the inspiration when our words, when our thoughts, our words, and our deeds are good. We feel enthusiasm, the drive to move ahead. On the negative path, instead, we'll have the sense of doubt, fear, and shame. So let's gauge our actions from the divine guidance within us. So then, हमारे भाव उज्जवल कीजिए, हमारे भाव उज्जवल हो जाएंगे. In the other bhajan which we say, Yash ji ne gaye the, it says, किसने हमें लड़ने को सिखाया? So if we just listen to our inner voice, the divine guidance will catch it that it's just lack of control on our thoughts, on our words, and our actions, which leads to that. So listening to the guidance, the divine guidance within us, we'll be able to eliminate those things. And with the bhajan which I picked, it says, Sukhi base sansar saba. And it starts with me. And if I want to be happy, I just have to live life not to please others, but first to satisfy myself. Like the clothes as I wear, when I get compliments, I am happy. But for how much time till I wear them? When I come back home, nobody gives me the compliment. So do I gauge my happiness by others' appreciation rather than how I appreciate myself in life? Like the food and drinks, especially when we go out, we tend to ignore our health and cede to the temptation of the food that are displayed there. So अगर हम सुखी बनना चाहते हैं, सुखी बने संसार सबन, it starts with me. It starts with each and every individual. So at that point in time, if we manage to control ourselves, we'll not indulge in food and drinks that are not conducive to our health. And it's like that for each and every step in our life. Then, Ya Abhilasha Ham Sab Ki Bhagavan Puri Hoi. When we said we are giving the blessings, Satya Santu Yajamanasya Kama. So Satya, truthful. And if we go within that framework of truth, of dharma, righteous living, definitely we'll get the results. And we'll get the results in due time. We shouldn't despair if we don't see immediate results. It's just like we see in this world. At times when we work, we get the salary, probably after the job is done, within one day. For some people, after 1 week. For others, after a fortnight. For others, yet after a month. And the bonus, the productivity bonus is after a year. And for some, who are CEOs, they get bonus shares probably after sustained profitability within their organizations. So within this whole organization, which is the world or universe, we have to wait when the karma comes in at maturity, then we are going. But surely, definitely, if we go slowly, steadily on the path, there's one bhajan of Kabirji which says, Dheere dheere re mana, dheere sab kuch hoy, mali sinche sab ghara, ritu aaye phal hoy. So it says when we planted a tree, even if we water it by 100 pails of water daily, it will bloom and it will give fruits only in due season. So it's likewise for our karma. So if we are patient, and patience, just see at times we get fruits of, we don't know the source of the karma. Like a child is born within a family which lacks no spiritual and material wealth. So where does those fruits come from? It's from the karmas of previous birth. So likewise, when we are doing karma and we don't see the fruits, we shouldn't despair. If we don't get it in this life, we'll get it next life or the life after. I've given you the example of a newborn child. It's like that. Unfortunately, we are taught the concept that the child is born innocent, but really it carries the imprints, the sanskar of the previous karma. Then for the guidance, the bhajan says, Vidya buddhi tejabal sabke bhitar hoy. The first element is vidya, true knowledge. Then buddhi, the intellectual faculty. Because knowledge without the discerning, the discriminating faculty serves no real purpose. Then dhanadhanya. Dhanadhanya includes physical and spiritual wealth. Say vanchit rahe na koi. So if we go on the path of that, abhilasha hum sab ki, and when the abhilasha, the expectations are truthful, really will get them. Aapki bhakti prem se man hove bharapur. So bhakti starts with man, the thoughts, then goes in words and physical actions. Rag dvesh se chit mera koson bhage dur. In Sandhya, there is a mantra which comes, and that sukti comes 6 times. Yosman dveshtiyam vayam dvishmastam vojam vedat. No dvesh, no hatred, no animosity towards other, let alone human beings, but towards other species of life also. Just look at the magnanimity of the Vedic Hindu philosophy. Then we also praying when we say Vishwani Deva Savitara Duratani Parasuva Durgun Durvyasan or Dukhon. So hate is within Durgun and Durvyasan. And when we say Agnena Yas Prathara Yasman Yuyodhyasmat Johura Nameno Kutilta Paprup Karmu Se Dur Kejiye Ishwar. Praying to Ishwar God to bring us away from and protect us away from hatred, from all the negative actions. Paprup Karma, Kutilta Rup Karma. So it's for us to walk the way, indeed, feel the divinity within us as the divine guidance and walk the way. The walking is ours. Then it says, Apna bhakta banakar hame karo nihal. And I often refer to that bhakta. Look at the child devoted to the parents and devoted to the gurus and devoted to the teachers. Let's surrender ourselves. Have the child surrender itself, himself or herself to the parents. Let's surrender to Ishwar God. Then क्या होगा? दिल में दया, उदारता, compassion, empathy. Then we'll be truly humane beings. And dhairya hriday mein veerata, dhairya, patience, that is another noble quality, virtue. Then, if we look at it, the bhajans, the prayers, the mantras, all lead us to one point: to be humane at heart, in the mind, as we say, be humane in body, mind, and spirit. If we go like this, surely, definitely, we'll be able to create a better person out of our own selves, create a better family, and create a better society, and create a better world, and realize the objectives of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the world as one family, and the objectives of Trinvanto Vishwamaryam, making the world noble in thoughts, in words, and deeds. I just hope I've been able to guide you through a bit across the mantras we are praying and across the bhajans that we do. Thank you for your attention. And just remember, we have the services on Saturday. It's live at the Hindu Center of Atlanta in Cumming, but also on Zoom. We have the Friday evening classes, 9 p.m. for the kids and the youth. And Sunday night, 9 to 9:45 p.m. We have the classes on the practical applications of yoga in daily life. This refers to the Yoga Darshan of Maharishi Patanjali. So thank you for your attention. Aarti Bhajan, any volunteer for that, please? To lead us with the Aarti Bhajan? Pandita ji? Or Yash ji, any one of you?
Om Jai Jagadish Hare.
Hey,
Jai.
Go ahead. Go
Okay,
ahead.
Pandita ji, carry on.
You go ahead.
Yash ji,
No, Pandita.
Yash ji did one, so let's listen to Pandita ji.
Yes, yes, definitely.
Pandita doesn't have a singing voice.
No problem.
Om Jai Jagadish Hare, Swami Jai Jagadish Hare, भक्त जनों के संकट, भक्त जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। जो ध्यावे फल पावे, दुख बिनशे मन का, स्वामी दुख बिनशे मन का। सुख संपत्ति घर आवे, सुख संपत्ति घर आवे, कष्ट मिटे तन का। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। मात पिता तुम मेरे, शरण गहूँ किसकी, स्वामी शरण गहूँ किसकी। तुम बिन और न दूजा, तुम बिन और न दूजा, आश करो जिसकी। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। तुम पूर्ण परमात्मा, तुम अंतरयामी, स्वामी तुम अंतरयामी। पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर तुम सबके स्वामी। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। तुम करुणा के सागर, तुम पालन करता। स्वामी तुम पालन करता। दीन दयाल कृपालु, दीन दयाल कृपालु, कृपा करो भरता। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। तुम हो एकय गोचर प्राणपति। स्वामी सबके प्राणपति। तुम इसको विदामय, तुमको मैं कुमति। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। विषय विकार मिटाओ, पाप हरो देवा। स्वामी पाप हरो देवा। श्रद्धा भक्ति बढ़ाओ, संतन की सेवा। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। Thank you, Acharya ji. Thank you.
आचार्य जी म्यूट पे हैं आप। आचार्य जी म्यूट पे हैं आप। आचार्य जी म्यूट पे हैं आप। आचार्य जी आप म्यूट पे हैं। आचार्य जी आप म्यूट पे हैं। We couldn't listen anything from you.
Yeah, I missed that. So let's do Shanti part.
Shanti part, yes.
In the yogic meditative form. Om Dhyau Shanti Antariksham Shanti Prithvi Shanti Apah Shanti Oshadaya Shanti Vanaspataya Shanti Vishvedeva Shanti Brahma Shanti Sarvam Shanti Shantireva Shanti Sama Shantiredhi Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you everybody. Namaste. Sabhi ko sadar namaste. Wish you a nice weekend. Take care and stay safe. See you all next week. Dhanyavad. Namaste. Over 7, 9, 5, 6.